intriguing and also very interesting. Over to tagging on our social media handles at Promise TV UJ on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, even YouTube. We'll be reading those comments as promptly as they do come in. Instead, we do have Dawn Stewart and G the girl. Let me start by asking them an amazing question. Trigonometry, mathematics.
Lwaki otandika ebintu ebyo?
Mathematics, you know, and something I remember about mathematics is you'll even still know that you're calculating the number wrongly, but you still continue to keep going.
waberanga mu kibuuzo n'owandiika wakakozesako peegi emu bweti ogenda okulaba ow'oluganda ali mu kuggyayo pages endala gamba onawandiika biki
okukola waggulu nga bwawandiika naye kati kankuwiri era ogenda mu maaso nekyoliko kubanga tolina solution endala.
Do you remember Ofoloma examination ne bagamba the right answer x was 0.5
gwe kati obusibu obwajjiranga nga mumala ekibuuzo omusajja najja tukebera namba pa namba gy'ogudde kutaka. Abasomesa ba mathematics tebali bango. Actually, me at a certain point I hated math, not because I performed poorly, not because I didn't have the brains to do math, but because for the fear of mathematics teachers. Was that necessary? They made us hate math.
This is not English. This is math. By the
way, bagaya batuleetera okukyawa math, and they made us think that the things that were supposed to be easy are actually hard. Until when you grow up and not advancing, and you look at simple concepts and you're like, it was this easy.
But we had a teacher we batulated actually ndoza mu S3 nga yatwagaza math. Yatwagaza math n'agamba oba mwagala oba temwagala
mugenda kuyita
muyina okuyita. Everyone must have, because math and English determine the grade. I don't know if that's the system.
Then
naye omusajja yatugamba oba mwagala oba temwagala mujja era twayita math first grade.
And I think he was a model in his teaching, unlike other teachers.
I think I missed such a teacher for math.
Kubanga as I'm saying, forward fulumya fenna ne bagamba watayina question bank out. Kwegamba nolabanga abalenzi bambi bonna abawanvu babala. They have made them to lie outside in the compound, and you're like, man,
because they don't have question banks.
Because they don't have questions bank. But well, away from that, diving into UNEB results being published in newspapers, social medias, and schools coming out saying, hey, for us to got these first grades, we got these A's, you know, we are the big giant school and all that. I love the fact that the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education Evudeyo, because to have a lot of intimidation.
Yes. Now, maybe we should dive into the article, because the article is saying that the Ministry of Education and Sports, under the leadership of First Lady Janet Museveni, has issued a directive prohibiting. Prohibiting is stopping the publication of individual candidates' UNEB results in media, in public media. This measure aims to protect students' privacy and well-being, aligning with the Data Protection and Privacy Act of 2019. Those are but the Data Protection and Privacy Act 2019 tekwata ku social media yuka naye yino naye kilide mu bayizi. Now the key points of the directive that the First Lady gave was prohibiting of public disclosure, where schools are instructed not to publish individual students' examination results, including scores, result slips, or photographs in newspapers, on billboards or via social media platforms. Then the legal compliance. The directive emphasizes adherence to the Data Protection Act and Privacy Act 2019, particularly Part 8, VIII. Part 8.
That is 17.
No,
that is
VII, that is 7.
X.
When no?
VII.
Section 36, 1 to 2, which outlines penalties for unauthorized disclosure of personal data and yes, private communication. Schools are advised to communicate examination results directly and confidentially to students and their parents or guardians through secure channels such as sealed letters or protected digital platforms. And lastly, alternative promotion strategies. Institutions are encouraged to highlight their educational offerings through extracurricular activities, community involvement and development initiatives, rather than showcasing examination results. Kubanga tubadde tulaba that amasomero they start publishing their results. We got only first grades, only one second grade, which now the directive is, if you are using that as a strategy to
get more students,
yes, advertise your school, you go for community involvement activities and extracurricular activities. Extracurricular activities edda twalabanga nga amasomero getaba mu netball, volleyball, so katinga, that is how they are getting advertised. Now those are the extracurricular activities. Football kati walabye nga
the way they won,
and all the other schools. Now that is the way schools are supposed to advertise.
Now you can imagine kakati ba giants baffe ababadde babeera ne all students passed in
but friends, you know, speaking about schools, if you look in this season, let me just go to the entertainment part of promos. Omwana nasasula 20 million to be the president of the promo. Ngagwe ezo sente. It may be your annual salary. You know, and these are like giant schools. And then these schools are from Chana Mukaka, where maybe promo is just eating some nice pilao and that is done. So I love the fact that using UNEB results as an estimate of saying, hey, we are better, we are good, it's going to leverage the gap of that intimidation that goes back end.
Kakati bwebabanga prohibiting the publication of results, kinalekawa bajanti baffe ababadde balaga nti ffe twayisiza first grades bonna bayifunye 8 in 8. 200 students 8 in 8, 300 students 14, you get like kakati abo bo bagenda kubalekawa kubanga that was a strategy.
But that is now the way where the world is going. Because I mean ebintu kati bichuse.
But also for the fact that we are on a competence-based curriculum, things have now changed. It's a binary grading system.
The French Revolution.
What I liked about this whole new curriculum, because now bino byonna be translating on the curriculum. Remember we were hosting someone from the National Curriculum Development Center here, and they said olwokubanga ekibuuzo kimu omwana kyayise oba kyagudde tekisobola kudetamininga emyaka ena gy'amaze nga asoma nekiraga nti agudde because of only an exam chagudde. Nti now it's based on competence. Nti aina skills ezokutegeera ebintu asobola expressing themselves. Can they do research and have basic understanding of things? Nti bwomuleetera different concepts asobola okuzitegeera. And I think kakati bwe bajja ne bagamba nti kati teriyo kulaga naye babadde bagenda kulaga ki based on this competence based curriculum. Kati banaalaga nti abantu baffe bonna bayise mpozi grading yali etya asose nti abantu baffe bonna bayise mu
grade first grade. That was the old one, but
that
right
was
now
the old
it's
one?
A's.
Yeah, okay. Kati ebyo byonna ati bye
babadde bagenda bi displaying batya.
Anti kati era babataasiza nze kyenda kubanga but you see what I love about the curriculum, just like you're saying, is that the grading system is now cumulative. So it is meaning that omwana kyazenga akola throughout the year. In fact, even throughout study gundi ye yonna, study history ye yonna. Naye psychologists also, child psychologists and education experts also have something to say about this kind of
Arrangement,
arranging of, you know, and publicizing. Now, there is a supportive view where many scholars in child psychology agree that publicizing individual results can harm students' self-esteem, especially those who perform poorly. According to Dr. Carol Dweck from Stanford University, such practices can reinforce a fixed mindset where students believe intelligence is static rather than encouraging growth as an effort.
Do you know that at a certain point there was something that was very annoying to me, and a word that normally people say, nti olwokuba omuntu taperforminze bulungi mu kibiina ne bakozesa nti yali musiru oyo omwana musiru mu kibiina aperforminze obulungi mu kibiina ne bagamba nti ono mugezi.
Stuart, from that very story, Trino Mwana, you know those funny guys in class? Like the most funniest backbenchers. Like every time they walk in, the whole class will
starts laughing.
That guy right now has close to 300,000 followers on his TikTok. And he's earning money from it. But he has a business of mechanical repair. And also maybe when they're looking for influencers, he's one of the people. And then you're there receiving a monthly pay, and yet this guy is receiving other streams of income. The turn of events in life, you know.
Well, I think it was my friend Lydia Money. She told me, Stuart, the thing is, most of us, where we get it wrong, also here in Uganda, you want to judge a fish that it's weak and foolish because of its inability to climb a tree.
Yes.
And you also want to judge, a bird. And it's foolish and weak, and because of its inability to go down in the water and swim.
By the way, there is something that a discussion that was on X and social media handles, where the people were kept wondering, why is it that it is the MBAs that are working for these students that were not
the bots?
The bots are the ones working.
The bots are working for these
for the weak ones.
For the weak ones. Kubanga weak one ye aina practical mindset.
Yes, true.
Whereby they go, their parents have taken them deep down to Chikubo to do the thing practically. Kakati nga yetaaga wa MBA ajabale ebitabo. Kubanga wa MBA aina theory. Ye yabiyita ebyo. Naye nga wano ku practical gamba nti no kati bw'okola bw'otyo oyitawo wano. Ate kano tekakola mu Kampala kano.
And there was a notion that said one of the reasons why people abatasomanyo or people who are considered illiterate batandika businesses, those who have not gone so far into education and academics, they can start businesses and they thrive. and yet those with so much brains, sometimes they don't start, or when they start, it fails. Omuna agamba nti it was because omuntu ono atandise omuntu ono atasoma nnyo, atagenze wala kusoma business management, kusoma economics, kusoma all those things. Bw'atuula wansi n'akiraba mu mutwe gwe nga kikola, n'akibala nti bwenkola bwenti nenkola ne bwenti ne bwenkola bwenti nja kufunamu kino.
Yes, they do that.
N'agenda n'atekinga risk. Mu Luganda tukira kutalaafiya, n'agenda n'atalaafiya. Bw'amala okutalaafiya ne kimukolera, bwe kiba kiganye ayizulu kiganye. Kaakati waliwo omulala ono owamagezi ennyo eyasoma agond business management, yasoma economics and all these things, atuula wansi n'abala nga risk level eri waggulu nnyo, kati okubala kuno n'agamba
it's called high risk low returns and low risk high returns, you know. But getting back to that article of Daily Monitor, there is something. Ministry of Education is not just coming out for the sake. They're coming from a background of the Article 27 of the Constitution of Uganda. So we also see the Data and Privacy Act of 2019. Egamba, you publishing someone's information, collecting, holding, retaining someone's information without their authorization is something really dangerous. Tulabye nti UNEB results wezifuluma basaba obufananyi bw'aba first grade, the names, the schools, and sometimes the interviews of where they stay and the schools where they've been given bursaries. So sometimes that is a risk at stake for these young people.
You know the losers within this, kubanga kati waliwo gundi abamawulire ababadde thriving on stories, publishing those abasinze okukola obulungi mu masomero ag'enjawulo, amasomero agasinze okukola obulungi. Era wiiki eyo ebibuuzo mwe bifulumira stories eziba zitopinga kati nabo babeera bagenda kubanga baluzinze out on the stories that they should have published in such a time.
And by the way, there is a Dr. Daniel Goleman, an author of the book Emotional Intelligence. He emphasizes and says that the role of emotional well-being in academic success, he suggests that humiliation or public comparison can increase anxiety, discourage future performance. So kati ogenda okulaba nga omwana ali anxious.
True.
Waliwo abaana abagana n'okuddayo ku ssomero. Why? Because they were considered, they were graded in a certain way, and then now they expected to be newspaper candidates, and they were not contacted.
Let us dive deep on that particular aspect. Eyokuba amasomero aga grading abaana. I mean, stream A is for the bright ones who learn faster. Stream B is for those who are good, fair, and then stream C is for the slow learners who still need more effort.
Special needs.
Special needs in the state. Naye bw'otegereza omwana ali mu stream C, n'alaba banne abali mu stream A, that psychological torture of saying me I'm a slow learner, it makes them feel like, you know what, I cannot go anywhere. And that division within school, kubanga they will outsource other teachers to come and make the stream A students perform better than the other streams, because they know that these are the frontliners who are going to make our school shine. Omwana nava mu stream C na outperforming at the end of UNEB nasingako banaba stream A. So a psychological torture omwana jayitamu, because it's subconscious. Jaba ayitamu okubanga asoma n'amanya nti ye tali good enough, era n'abasomesa babeera babasomesa bamalako a lot of time. So at the end of the day, a child is studying, but it's like, you know what, that kind of we are slow learners.
And literally the way they are looked at, the way they are looked at, there was a particular school I was in. Now, because I wasn't in the super first grades, when I joined this school, they put me in a blue stream. Now we had green and we had blue. Now when they put us in Fabali blue, were there, they considered us unserious. And then there were those in green. Kakati sebongo kuita komu stream ya green, guys would look at you as an alien because simply because like they will make you feel like you don't belong here, go back to your class. And I think that is also something that we need to roll out.
Maybe that is even why today we have an increase, or could it be
An increase in the dropout rate.
But also an increase in mental health
Yes.
issues, because right from long time ago, and you see these things are built over time. It's not that mental health issues
Starts today in one day. Yeah.
The way our mindsets were aligned and accustomed and trained, the training alone, maybe that is why we have an increase in mental health cases. Kati ogenda okwesanga nga abantu they are rowdy. You saw that video one time on social media. Omusajja yali yetambulira bibye oli n'avayo n'amukuba ekikondi. Why? Someone is just cuckoos. And you can't explain it, but may I want to believe or think that these things are progressive. But because of the training that we have been having, training where our psychological aspect is not taken care of.
Sure.
Kati nosanga ntino omwana right from nursery, from the time they enter school, the comparisons are there. Bano tebamanyi kwogera mubateekaawo. Bano batandise okwogera mubateeke wano. Bano boogera ku luzungu mubateeke wano. So divisions are everywhere. And also I want to believe that this kind of setting has also brought in the class system, where the people sit together. I'm better than
I'm
this
better
one.
than you.
You know,
I'm better than
Jen,
you.
there was a study that showed that 20% of students aged 13 to 19 have contemplated suicide. Have contemplated suicide. This is according to the CNews Uganda. They've contemplated suicide, and it's most likely connected to experiences at school.
Stuart, I really want to agree with you. Ekintu kya suicide, mental deprivation kyeyongedde nnyo mu masomero. Weetegereza amasomero gaffe twasomera ng'edda. I mean, we didn't have such kind of things. But how many schools have a professional mental health practitioner? Kyekibuzo kye tulina handling. And then this streaming, because the school wants to do better and outshine other schools, and placing the students meant omwana ava ewaka n'amanya nze ndi mu stream C. So I'm not better. So and so is better than me. So even if you want to try to associate during break time, akade kagenda kuba nawe duka mu class yo nange nziruke mu class eyange. So a child, even if they are to reach their fullest potential of adjusting and growing and being better. For example, you gave that example and you said your mathematics teacher said that wamwagala oba temwagala
Mujja kuyita.
muyina okuyita. I mean, even the weak student said owange musomesa yagambye tulina okukola ki. So they put in extra effort. But the moment you start creating this division, this is why we are saying adults right now who have thought of suicide, who are cutting themselves, who are doing body harm, people who have self-hate. Gee, for me, when someone is saying a word, I go back to why are they saying what they're saying. Someone says, "Sagala kumanya." I tell myself this person has accumulated trauma
It's coming from somewhere.
It's coming from somewhere. So just because it's their character. So abana bayita mu mental illness right from when they're young. Kids are picked up as early as 5. Kindergarten. Then at 10 a.m. abana bebaka musanvu banone. Then why wouldn't the school adjust the time to reporting at 8 a.m. You know?
But Gunda oja kugenda okuzulanga streaming system and the grading streams or bajagamba nti no twagala kumanya different people with strengths tubateeke bokka n'abeetaaga more attention tubateeke bokka collectively. But then you end up forgetting the power of association.
Yes.
If someone is associating with people who are seemingly better than them, there is a high possibility of this person to also come up to a level of this person because now they are associating with someone better than them.
Yes.
That's why someone will tell you, most of the time, what you are represents the circle of people around you. Kakati ono buli lw'onaamugyamu n'omuteeka mu stream ey'abantu abalinga ye abamufaanana abali equally weak or probably they are not so good.
Yes.
Nga that is the reason of you putting them in this particular cluster. It will mean nti ajja kusigala nga bw'abadde. Goyinza okulowooza nti ogenda kubawa more attention naye talina na inspiration.
But me, I want to continuously commend the Ministry of Education. The more it continues to do these directives, I think we're going to be having a good education sector altogether. And where I'm waiting them to pounce on is the school fee structure. Because a school paying close to 600,000 as admission, I mean, explain to me how admission can be 600,000, you know, because back then, or going back 10 years ago, we were just paying like maybe 50,000 or 100. But right now, things are out of the blue.
And your admission, avera literally someone's, avera on a sasulanga admission is a fees from somewhere else.
You know,
yeah, that is the world fees, and the functional fees and requirements included.
Naye waliwo ekintu Stuart kyayogeddeko okulowooza nti no by clustering these students or pupils mbuno you're going to pay more attention. But teachers are trained to identify students or pupils in their class, weaker ones and those who are faster learners.
Yes.
Now when as a teacher, when you identify that this one is weak here, this one is weak, as a matter of fact, edda wetwasomera nga bakwata a weak student and a faster student nebatuuza wamu kakati nga beyamba era ogenda okumaliriza nga honestly speaking that power of association gyobadde oyogerako ng'ono omwana avuddeyo because there is something that we learn from our peers. N'ogenda okulaba nti no gwe ng'omusomesa oyinza obutakwata ku samnati naye no munne agenda ogamba naawe nedda ako kajjukire si bwekato bwekato n'akamuteeka muna okay nga tamubogoledde tamukanze kwegamba now that really this one nullifies the whole concept of section A, section B, section C. Ate yo ogenda okwesanga nga abaana obakozesi bulungi.
But you know, giving an illustration, ojja kusanga Bridget Akamati Kasazo newa woseeka ku mupiira ng'akikuba. So that power of association helps really a great deal.
Ate ojjukira ng'edda batugamba nti no omwana alina kubeera all round kubanga even then you that ono omwana ali faster at grasping concepts, learning era naye obwongo bwalina okububuumuzaamu n'agenda n'akolayo co-curricular activity n'aba nti no ali good for example in volleyball we twasomera eyo mu ssomero gye nasomera ng'abaana bakola volleyball.
Nawazanyako volleyball?
Nze saazanya volleyball, nazanya football.
Ozanya football?
Kyova olabanga mwana mpagira ttiimu eziriyo naye nga mwana nga that was like a necessity. Era amasomero nga it was mandatory. You have to belong to a club. Nga waliwo table tennis. So that at the end of that day, when you have put in all these concepts in your brain, there is somewhere you go and relax this brain. Then after that, prep time, nga muddayo, you do your work and all. Naye nga waliwo engeri omwana jawo.
Bakiddayo ne ku masomero, do you know our schools abali batwala particular gradings? Gundi guno omwaka tugenda kutwala secondary school tutwala babuna bokka.
Yes.
Bwoba toyina buna, please try somewhere else.
Try your talents.
Somewhere.
You know, one thing I'm really I'm really so happy is that this directive, whenever change is made, it is either positive or negative.
Yeah.
But I'm very happy that chino chigenda kujjawa abadde basinga chifunamu. You know, I'm sure schools have been paying money for their names to
For
be
listing.
for listing, you know, at the end of the day. And the question is, like, even if the schools do perform and then these ones feel like, hey, we're in number 147, there is a school that is always in the top 5 and it's never maybe moving down, it's always going at the top, I'm sure that it's going to be able to balance the boat altogether. But getting back to students, Bambi, I feel like we need to really understand that things have changed. Mental health is really so paramount. So we can't leave home where we are experiencing violence and then come to school and at the end of the day you will suffer from identity crisis or performance failures and all.
I'm just hoping nga bwe baweze oba bwe prohibitinze okubanga publication of student results also bagenda kwata ku nsonga eyo gye tuva okwogerako ey'amasomero okubanga batwala specific kati in this new grading system oli ajagamba I'm only taking A. I'm only taking A and B okitegeera okweyongerayo probably ku A level and what, but I really want to believe bw'obanga okoze essomero omulimo gw'essomero kuba kusomesa bayizi and nze nalirowoozezza nti essomero lyonna eriri effective lirina kubanga bwe bakuwa omuntu atalina kyamanyi nga sometimes ne ability ye okugrasping ebintu teri developed nnyo oyina okutekingamu all your efforts nti by the time they get out of your school they are better people. Ne kati gwe bw'obanga ogamba nti you're only taking students in only abo bokka abayina a certain capacity to grasp things the way you want them to be grasped, gw'otwala baabona bokka seemingly be bayita abagezi in quotes and quotes nga gwe bw'otwala bokka kitegeeza toli effective kubanga bw'oyagala bagezi bokka oba be bayita abagezi bokka toyina ability ekwata muntu ali nothing to make them something.
Well,
oba ofeirinze ng'omusomesa.
Well, Stuart, that is a keynote thing, and at this point I would like us to invite our viewers to share their thoughts, you know, and obanga wakatweyungako njagala kozesa namba 074464050 kubanga otusindikira obubaka nendowoozayo ku kyolowooza Ministry of Education okubanga eganya amasomero kubanga bapublishinga UNEB results in newspapers, notes boards and social media. What is your take on that? Over tag on our social media handles at Promise TV UG, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, or even YouTube. Tunapata some comments ezo ngabwezi ngirao oterevo dalanyo. And getting back into the discussion, one of the things I'm really dissatisfied is that there are students with special needs. And you find that there's a school only for students with special needs, and then those also who are able-bodied. I feel like schools should, in a way of now maybe new measures of maybe attracting, is to also admit students with special needs and support them in a way that they can.
Anti kati oli ajja kugamba nti bw'oba ogenda kuleta students with special needs, you're also going to need teaching staff who cater for students with special needs, and they are not. Si bangi nnyo of course, and si balayisi. Si balayisi okubeera n'omusomesa handling special needs, but oli ye gundi gy'agenda okuwa naye I really agree with you nti essomero obeera olina okuadmitinga n'abaana abalina special needs. Kiddayo nti bw'obanga your mandate is to teach and produce better citizens, kitegeeza olina okuba ne ability to take in all kinds of people, and by the time you're done with them they are something, they are far better than when you got them. And that defines what a school is supposed to do. Yeah.
The matter of students or people with special needs, me, I personally think giving them their own school is better. Why? Because there is a way their schools are built, the classrooms are built, the toilets are there is a lot.
Support is more easier.
Support is easier there, and it's okay. But also when these students are in those schools with special needs, they should not be
stigmatized.
Yeah.
They should be, left to move all together, because wabeerawo ononga special need ye yabutakwata mangu. Slolana waliwo noono nga ye ayina obulemu ku mubiri naye nga
obwongo
busaza, so kati bw'obaawula ate onaafiira ddala. Naye what UNEB's directive kyenjagaddeko,
the Ministry of Education.
Ministry of Education directive. Why I like it is because it is bringing in the aspect of family, because remember, it is encouraging direct communication with families, where results are sent to these parents, either by closed letter, WhatsApp, whatever it is. Kakati family yo netuula ne discussing these results with their son or daughter, meaning kati egenda kubanga egatta amaka. Naye kati jukira wabaddewo system whereby eraga nti ono no byaganye omwana ne bamukwata ne bagamba ate munange nze sente nyonoona zaaki egenda onoonye essomero.
So kati kambo just understand kigenda kuba nti ne ku ssomero temulina kutimba.
Yes, notice boards, social media.
Tejjukira no, by the way, wabeerangawo system eno eya first 5 last 5. Ebyo byonna babiweze
mu masomero nti bannange eyakulembedde
ebyo nabyo babiweze, because it really works on someone's self-esteem.
True.
Mental health.
And at the end of the day, twabeeranga mu masomero omwo naye nga performances zino oba simanyi what would happen in the ears or in the brains of our teachers. Maybe they had a point naye nga mostly results zino zabeerangawo kuswaza nti gundi gwe obadde waneno nga bweraga weefuula obw'amaanyi katukulinde tugenda kutimba buli omu amanye nti weeragira bwereere ku gundi ku kampasi naye tolina content kakati.
And the pressure that has also been coming to the teachers. Subject to yo tetula abana we bavaayo. Ati gwa atekamu amaanyi abana bavaayo late. So the teachers put in effort naye abana ne bakola kine bagana okuvaayo. So I'm happy that this is going to take out.
It's an all-round thing. Waliyo no n'abantu amasomero nga gabadde gasebo nga gatimba gundi work w'abaana. Kati bawadde like artists ne batimba wabweru wa class
ebibuuzo byennyini
from best nga yali kungulu there is a way we babadde babutimba nga buvaayo nga butterfly naye nga ogenda n'otunula n'ogamba ye
kati
ono omwana wa 30% kwegamba from 8 n'ogenda okulaba nga batimbye work tests results ogamba this is traumatizing
because schools have thought that putting results on notice board will encourage the weaker ones to do better. But in other words, one thing I feel is missing is teachers or peers understanding their fellow peers. Tekale gwobuzibu buliwa waki totegeera kineeno so that you can be helped accordingly.
Okimanyi nti ebiseera ebisinga ekiremesa omuntu okutegeera what they are supposed to ky'omusomesezza most of the times it's language.
Yes.
Not language in terms of Luganda or in terms of English, but the language they understand.
Simplicity.
Nti ebiseera ebisinga why we hated math. Earlier viewers abali mu cluster yange earlier I hated math earlier until I got to a certain level and I started loving it and I'm like, okay, I used to think it was even hard. But the problem was simply language. Twalina abasomesa nga nabo bennyini yesterday nabadde ntambula nenzijukira omu yatugamba vectors tuzireke zigenda kubamenyera bwerere temugenda kuzitegeera temujja kuzitegeera tuziveeko
without even giving it to understand.
temujja kuzitegeera. Now how's they are thinking and I'm like, what was so hard about vectors? But it was simply language. It was very simple language. Naye nyinyi omusomesa probably yali talina capability to break it down. Yakikuraminga n'akitegeera n'akiyita naye nga teyasobola naye kukitegeera.
Naye Stuart goloza vectors enyangu kubanga bajja kuwa illustration bagambe Mary traveled to maybe Jinja, or they'll give her to her home village 126. Then she turned south 60 degrees northwards.
When she was there, she turned 45 degrees.
Meanwhile, Lavayo,
but you're right, I agree with you.
The whole problem was bwe balenga batusomesa ebintu bino byabeeranga limited to class.
Yes.
No one got us out n'akugamba nti kakati bwe bakugamba nti Mary yatambula omwana ali olina okumugereza mu area gy'amanyi ku kyalo kwennyini kwamanyi. How did I remember vectors? I was moving somewhere nengamba bwe nkozesa this route if I take the other straight route it seems far but actually it's easier kumpi than this one that looks shorter because it has a corner somewhere and another corner somewhere. Nga those are the 90 degrees, the 60 degrees that Mary had to turn. But because yasomesanga ebintu ebyo yabilimiting to the classroom, it didn't make sense in real life. Kakati bwe kita making a sense in real life najja nakugamba vectors tojja kuzitegeera zireke.
And yet getting to where does this person get lost or going slowly? But let me ask a question. Do you people think prep pays off?
Prep. Night prep.
Night and morning prep.
I think
morning prep works, night prep
doesn't. Morning prep would do because I really want to believe it also creates a discipline in this student that they need to wake up early and ngobongo buchali fresh and they grasp things. It creates culture but it also helps them in learning. Of course waliwo ayinza okubeera eyo ng'agamba tokyogera nako ezina kyezigasa, but I think it really creates a culture and a discipline and it also helps in learning. Night prep.
I like the way events are turning and taking a twist and turn and all, because there is a heated argument on social media that is talking about whether it was good to colonize Africa or what we colonization. And there is this other guy saying, man, we colonized those guys, but it wasn't good. They had their own stuff. So it's the same way with this kind of education. I like the fact that the education system is evolving and turning, taking its turns such that at the end of the day, it is going to have to benefit these students. It will benefit the nation. It will benefit families. It will benefit. It is going to take up the whole, you know, the whole aspect of life, such that katite chidi kumuntu. Kubanga luli bobanga oyise nga gwagenda okubeera judge.
True, yes.
Gwagenda okola law. Gwagenda okola medicine. Naye kakati bw'otandika to bring in these kind of changes,
yes,
ogenda okulaba nga mental health y'abantu ogikutteko. Abantu obakendezeza mu malwaliro because of mental health. Families ozilese together. Ababadde balowooza nti they are weak n'oba boosting. I mean, I like it because it is all round.
Friends, with just a couple of a few couple of minutes that we have, nani agadde okuwulira ku ndowooza yammwe kubanga results not being published is going to create something else. Tulabye abazadde nga balemera ku baana. You must do sciences. You must do sciences. You find omwana nga abaddemu A level for 3 solid years because the parent wants them to do BCM and get certain points. Nga UNEB results zivaayo nga afunye 7 naye ate zimu qualifying nga zitaaga 15.
Angel, I know a student that I studied with. She was a very bright student, very bright, but it wasn't. Now, she had a brother. The brother had gone through the same school, and the brother wasn't able to make it or kufuna points as himself so called a BCM or A level. So I think the brother went into nursing. Now, mama n'agamba nze nina okubeera n'omusawo muki family kakati gwe nnyabo ye gwe ogenda kusoma okola BCM oba oyagala oba toyagala nina okuba n'omusawo mu family. So she was bright, but that side of sciences, of medicine, it wasn't for her.
It was sunset.
Kakati mukazi watu n'atandika okubyagala because bakimuforsinzeeko. And at the end of the day banasooka n'afuna zali like 7 points. Mama n'amugamba n'omukwano ogenda kuddayo ate oddayo mu senior 5 osinziire ojja okole BCM. Osinziire ojja okole BCM nina okuba n'omusawo mu family. I tell you what, she didn't make it again. And if she had gone into something like law, economics, she was bright, very bright. Naye it wasn't for her.
Yes, Jay. That's very nice.
But actually, even maybe the fact that parents so far don't understand the new curriculum is a good thing.
A blessing in disguise.
Blessing in disguise. Because kati your example gituwadde. Omuzadde n'agenda n'akako omwana okukola ekintu ng'omwana talinamu interest. Kumbe yaba abamanyi nti no kati ddayo mu S5 osinzire ojengo odduka bulungi.
And I think this is the time as a country when and even in our education system we need to start looking at strength. Olumu tuyinza okutunuulira gundi ya strength in terms of strength nti omwana ono asobola okusamba omupiira, that is their strength. But osobola okusanga ng'omuntu strength ye okutegeera ekintu is not the conventional way that we are used to. It's not that they don't understand or they don't have the capability to grasp things. Naye nga it's simply because engeri gye kiri mu kubeera delivered omwana ono y'engeri gy'atakitegeera. So it takes, I think we need to take time. Amasomero galina okutekinga time ne gamanya omuyizi ono ekintu kino akitegeera atya. You try other ways of them understanding these things, and later I'll make a confession. Aliya and muto okubala kwantawanyanga kale kansooke nve kubala essaawa clock eya kalimi yantawanyanga yantawanya nnyo until secondary. But it's simply because omuntu eyasooka okunsomesa essaawa engeri gye yagisomesa saagitegeera. Yagamba bugambi kano bwe kabeera wano ziba bwe ziti, kano bwe kabeera wano ziba bwe ziti. Simple. And I reach a point mukula like nechigaana. It took a student, a fellow student. Nangamba no, it's like this one. Zino turn. Kakati eno bwe bange esonze waneeno oba like
eziyiseeko besigadde
eziyiseeko you get bwe yakinsomesa I was like kumbe it was this simple nenga kyentwalidde emyaka n'emyaka nga sitegera.
I also want to share an experience. When you spoke about the wall clock or the timing, I was like, Stuart, not today. But you guys, I received a slap and I saw lightning. Kati muzinga tumesa wall clock. Ewaka. Netuyigako ebyekitono ebyawo. Kati tuba tukyali awo. I don't know who told my sister, but from nowhere. She says, what is the time there? And I'm like, Muzeyi yawulira neŋŋamba at the time is nalaba lightning
naye zo bannange baali babasomesezaako math ne mwefukira okubala oba kiki I don't know what naye me I like this education system now nti omwana yeetegeera n'agamba nze bannange ngenda kola food science nze njagala music njagala piano naye kati nonteeka mu kintu sikitegeera naawe tokitegeera ate tokiri
tuli mu chemistry lab tugatta it must be purple ate zefuna blue.
It was the same story with gundi chemistry. Organic chemistry. Now basooka ne batusomesa ebintu before nga tetunnagenda ku organic chemistry ions ate anions elements bla 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 nga tebitegeerekeka. It was later in life that I understood that these things they were supposed to be very simple naye nga and I think nga amasomero abasomesa abo abatandika ku abaana bajoininze senior 1 abasomesa abo abatandika nabo muyina okufuna abasomesa abali strong who have had the time and they have a good track record of okusomesa omwana n'ategeera ekintu kubanga these things at the foundation omwana bw'atabitegeera it will cost them the whole 4 or 6 years.
Ate ne cramming eno nze ndaba ng'egenda kendeera kubanga waliwo we twatuuka ne batugamba nti no what is the color of iodine kale neno nga tugamba ya blue ya brown ya kati omusomesa n'atugamba mwe mukikwata bukwasi the color of iodine is brown bw'ogiteeka ku litmus paper it turns blue black okitegedde why tetugimanyi where is it taking us we don't know. All we know is that when the question comes what is the color
kati obuzibujjukira bwali nti twasomanga kuyita bibuuzo era why do we study chemistry to pass exams.
But friends, you know, this topic today is very exciting but this is how I would want to sign out. Mzade yenna tulaba kkiriza omwana wo akole ky'ayagala because that is where they're going to thrive. That is where their passion is until they will be better and they will mature and grow in that area. Okumusindikiza gwe ky'oyagala ng'omuzadde akole si kye kigenda okubeera the best at the end of the day.
But also kiyinza okubanga not specifically ky'ayagala but take time to understand the strength of your child. The strengths of your child. Kubanga ebiseera ebisinga kiyinza okubanga si ky'ayagala naye nga tannategeera butegeezi ky'ayagala kuba ye ng'omuntu tamanyi strengths ze. How about you take some time probably, and I think we really need to be so emphatic and to pay more attention to career guidance even at a very early age because omwana buli lwakulanga ayina vision ayina imagination of what they want to be things become easier.
Yes.
Naye kakati ezimu ku nsonga lwaki abaana bagwa mu masomero and dropouts because they don't even have a vision of where they are going. They are just going through school. You get ebintu bifuuka bizibu kubanga omuntu tamanyi wajalaga naye omuntu buli lwabanga ayina focus ayina watunudde things even become easier because they start looking at school, they start looking at learning in a way of batandika okukikola nga bakyagala kubanga bamanyi gye balaga. So let's take time to understand the strengths of our children. Bw'omala okutegeera strengths then you can guide them ate naye ajja kusobola okukiraba based on how they've seen that they are strong in this particular area and not in this. Yes.
But also even understanding that abana tubalekere, so that in that same line you give them subjects according to where they are being directed to. Yes, in the beginning the subjects are many. Naye as you do the career guidance, mugenda okwesanga